If you're watching this, it means that I finally made it to his story, my part. Good job, Lydia. But anyway, it's time to tell you guys about what I did for my service learning. I knew in the very beginning that I did want to do adoption. Even though it was a hard subject to talk about, I knew that I could do it. But then came the volunteer work and the service learning. I had no idea what I could do. But then I talked to my mom and she said, you know lots of people who are adopted. You could interview them. So I decided to interview 2 kids who were adopted and 2 kids that weren't. The first kid I decided to interview was my friend Tam from school. The first time I ever talked to Tam was grade 7 in the field at PE. He said to me, "Hey, you're from Ethiopia, right?" I said, very surprised, "You can tell that by my face?" Apparently someone in our class told him that I was adopted and from Ethiopia. That same conversation, he told me that he was adopted and from Ethiopia too. For some reason, I got really excited because I had never had anyone who was adopted and from the same country as me in my class. The other person I decided to interview was my friend Sam. He's also adopted and also from Ethiopia. I asked him the same questions as Tam and compared their answers, which was really interesting because there were some things that were the same and others that were different. Lastly, I decided to interview my friends Isla and Lucas from my class. They are not adopted. But the main reason I decided to interview them, even though they weren't adopted, was because I wanted to see the different worldviews of kids who weren't adopted. The other things that I decided to do for my service learning was make different types of posters around the school. The poster will have a QR code that you can scan with your camera on your phone, and it will take you to a website with my brochure that I made about adoption. During his story, my part, I got to learn even more about adoption and what it can do to your mental health. The through line I decided to go with my presentation was servant working. I was really torn about either doing servant working or community building, but in the end, I decided to do servant working. I decided to do servant working because I realized that so many people help make adoption happen. And they're being children of God and serving others even if they don't even know them. God has worked through so many children around the world and helped them serve others.